Fight Time Network.
Welcome back to Fight Time Network, y'all. Hope y'all had a great 4th of July weekend with our break-in fights, but hopefully you all still had a great time. UFC is ending up in Nashville this Saturday. A bunch of old dogs and big old heavyweights, baby. We're going to be banging this Saturday. How's it doing with you, Lee? How's everything going?
Hey, we never took a break over here at Fight Time Network. One, we've been in the gym training every day. My boy Seb's got a fight coming up. You're going to see him on the channel a little bit later in the week there. He's got his second amateur Muay Thai fight of the year. Shout out 705 Striking and Ryan Lem.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, he's gonna be throwing down Saturday night in Toronto, hoping to get a W. We believe he got robbed by the judges last time around a few months earlier. He's coming back for it. And we didn't take a break on the betting side of things, man. If you were in the Fight Time Network winnable PFL Europe 2, we were up +8 units, man. We cashed a great double. We cashed a few underdogs. There was lots of units just handed out win after win after win. So be sure to check that out every week, because it's not just the 13 fights, 12 fights, the UFC, man. If you want to scale your MMA betting, check out the Fight Time Network winnable.
Facts. Headline in this event this Saturday, though, is Derek Lewis coming up against Teixeira. Gonna be some big boys banging it down. We got a breakdown of the main card here. Before we get to that, this video is brought to you by TKO Roofing out of Cleveland, Ohio area. Ran by the 145-pound champ in Cage Thunder. Don't let your roof be the underdog. Get your roof fixed today. As we are kicking off light heavyweight bout, Junior Tafa 6-3 coming up against Tuco Tokos 10-5. I'll be real, this is kind of a bland card, but hey, fights are fights, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much a bunch of possible coin flips this weekend, because if the dude's expected to be the underdog, he has knockout power. That's how it's looking this weekend. This is about one of the fights that's not really as one-sided when it comes to the veteran or just knockout power. Oh, man, it's just so hard because we think of Junior Tafa and you look at his brother, dog, killer. But I really don't know what to do about this, because I know Tucos can't take a big shot. Junior's Tafa's stand-up game is, nah. Right? I mean, he's good at putting a jab out there. He's good at following up maybe the jab with a straight right. But other than that on the feet, where do you think this goes, Lee?
You know what? Those Tafa brothers, unfortunately, they just haven't been the most consistency. You know, they're past the victory where I saw them going in the past. And unfortunately, what I see, the ability that they certainly have to do just does not show up when it comes to the fight. I mean, ultimately, we've seen Tafa finish several times. I think he does have that chance in order to knock Tucos out, as Tucos has eaten a lot of shots. But, you know, in the event that, I think the more likely scenario is Tafa finds out that Tucos' head is a little bit harder than he anticipates and gets him on top of him in the first round. I could see Tucos getting it to the ground and we got a ground and pound finish. I think he's going to come in heavier too. And, you know, they're going to come out swinging. This is definitely not getting out in the first. I'd hate to see the odds on the under 1.5. It's probably astronomical. But nonetheless, I'm with Tucos on this, just because of the consistency of Tafa hasn't been there. Backed him several times in the past. I've thought past the victory were there. And although they certainly were in his skill set, he just unfortunately was unable to display them.
Yeah, you're looking at what we got here, under 1.5 minus 135 lead. Not as terrible as you thought. You probably thought you'd be getting 170. Minus 170 there, something like that, but not too bad. I just don't see Tokos wanting to stand with Tafa, and you think he's going to be able to get him to the ground, man? Tafa does have a takedown defense rate, 77%, so you know he's going to get maybe back up.
Yeah. in a lot of these heavyweight matchups that are coming up in this Nashville card, man, it's all on that first round. Like it's
Yeah,
all comes down to that first round. How Tafa performs in the first round will definitely dictate the fight. Because I guarantee if his arms get tired and his hands get low, he's going to have a hard time defending trips and takedowns. And ultimately, I think Tukos will get the better of him once the power dies off a little bit, if it does.
I agree. And the only thing that makes it really hard to see kind of where Tuco Tokos is at is like he lost to Sai, lost to Sterling. And we really don't know what Sterling's made of yet. I mean, that's just a little premeditated, but Navajo Sterling does look like a pretty promising prospect in this division. I'm gonna take Tafa here, man. I just think coming off three straight losses, Tafa's coming off a win, so that does look good for him. I just don't know. I'm not 100% sure if Toko's going to be able to get him to the ground and keep him there. And I think it's going to really wear on Tokos. He's going to kind of use grappling in certain situations when he shouldn't be and get overzealous on his gas tank. I don't even know if it'll go under 1.5. This just might be a sloppy ass fight that goes to a decision, Lee. It's for some reason what I'm feeling. Because I think Tokos is going to try to push the pace and then they're both going to get tired.
Yeah, yeah.
But you never
You know,
know.
like it could come to him getting taken off his feet, or it certainly could come to Tafa getting
Yeah.
the hit off on Tokos.
But that's my thought on this. Everybody's going to, under 1.5, under 1.5. But they're both just kind of sloppy fighters.
Yeah. And we've seen several circumstances where everybody thinks they're out of the first round in the heavyweights and they go over.
And I've heard my buddy said the other day, man, heavyweights haven't even been knocking each other out lately. Except, you had
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall doing his thing back when, but it's been a game of, I don't know, point game.
Yeah.
Hell, we even have heavyweights laying on heavyweights just to get the win with what old boy did to Derek Lewis.
Yeah. Swing away and get tired.
Yeah. But that's what I'm going to take Tafa here. I just don't see Toko's coming off a three fight win streak, losing streak, and changing those odds. But we'll see. And he's older, 35. We'll see. Moving on to Vitor Petrino, 11-2, moving up to heavyweight against Dewan Lane, 13-6. If I'm not wrong, Petrino did already try to move up to heavyweight, and the fight got canceled. I'm right. He's already tried to
Yeah,
make this move.
that sounds about correct.
But man, here Petrino gonna be putting on some weight. But how much does not having to be able to cut down to 205 gonna affect his cardio?
Honestly, I don't think his cardio has much to do with his past two performances. He made a critical error charging in against Anthony Smith and got guillotined. And then he was up
That's
two and a
true.
half rounds against Jacoby and made
Yeah.
that error of just, thinking the fight's in the bag and ultimately getting KO'd in the third round.
Yeah, it's two straight losses after beating Pedro, Bukauskas, Prachnio. But Dewan Lane was looking great against Pinto. We thought he was a new man, dude coming in, and then got slept really late. He was way ahead on the scorecards, I'd imagine.
Well, that's the consistency that you see with Austin Lane. He does that in every one of his fights. He
Yep.
always gets the first round. If there's some Petrino is just so inconsistent, you never really know where he's going to drop the ball. But as 3-1 favorite twice in a row, that's exactly what he's done. Austin Lane comes in as a plus 400 underdog two times in a row and makes it look like he's going to win the fight. Like he beat Honada Denise in the first round, got him to the ground, very technical takedown. And
Outslept Pinto in the first round.
yeah. And then he was able to get strikes off on Pinto, and Pinto sort of dialed it in and got a little bit more technical and didn't play the wild out game and knocked out Austin Lane. But I mean, that's like his calling card. He wins the first round, gets knocked out in the second. So I guess it's going to come down to what the mistakes Petrino makes in the first, whether or not he'll catch the fight. But at the same time, we've seen Petrino make mistakes later in the fight. We've just seen him make mistakes in the striking, and we've seen him make mistakes in the grappling.
Right.
And I mean, Austin Lane, knowing that he can take you down at will, or if he finds that opening, that's a heavy man to try and stop.
Yeah, and moving up from 205, he's always been the bigger man. Coming up against Dewan Lane, I just don't know if Dewan Lane's really going to be able to keep him down. He's going to be agile. He's going to be quick in movements, quick in transition, even if he does start the grappling. Standing on the, I mean, Petrino, he just got slept by, lost to Jacoby. Did he get slept?
Yeah, he got slept in the third round after winning it. He basically had it in the bag,
Yeah,
man. That
that's
clock
what I
just needed
thought.
to tick away the last 2.5, and the judges would have gave him all three on the score crowns. And Jacoby caught him backing up, man.
That's where I think he's going to be kind of hesitant, just wanting to even
Yeah,
stand with Austin Lane after what he
yeah,
looked with Pinto.
yeah, because Austin Lane can ultimately hit hard, man. And if you're backing up against Austin Lane, he's going to run you right into the cage,
Right.
especially early on. So it depends on how Petrino comes into it, exactly what his game plan is, and how in shape he's looking. Whether, because a lot of people say, well, he doesn't have to cut weight, but ultimately that might outdo it as well, because I mean, he's not, you got to be in shape to make 205, right? You got
Right.
to be
That's
in
what I
great
was saying earlier
cardiovascular
without the cut.
shape.
That's what I was saying
So
earlier.
if,
Without cutting a 205, is he going to
yeah,
have that extra, that cardio that you gain within
yeah,
cutting the weight and doing the extra cardio to Dewan Lane?
yeah,
But I'll be realistic. Dewan Lane is a plus 525 on this one. So
yeah.
I'm going to take that. I'm sorry. It is too lopsided in odds, especially for a heavyweight fight.
Oh, absolutely. This one should be a pick 'em. And that's what I said, that's what I said going in after, you look at Denise and you look at Pinto, man. Um, I thought Austin Lane had value in the past two of his fights. And I mean, like, what
Right.
I saw out of Austin Lane showed up in the first round, but kind of dwindled in the second. So, I mean, we can see consistency out of Austin Lane's performances much more than Petrino's. And I think that consistency is where the value is on the betting line.
Yep. I'm jumping on the underdog on this one. Seen it here, said it here. If he gets slept in 20 seconds, hey, I look dumber than crap, but it is what it is, bud. Get that
I've
fatty.
gone through it twice already. I know how it feels.
Moving on to Nate the Train Landwehr, 18-6 against Morgan Chartier, 2011-1. The only way I see Nate winning this if he is successful early and gets Chartier, however you say it, flustered. But if he can't be the first one to the dance and Chartier leads, he's going to smoke Landwehr, I think. And he can just stay at distance and pick him to pieces. And Nate Landwehr is now 37 years old, not what he used to be. Last couple fights kind of showed that wear and tear late past 1.5. But he did beat Jamal Emmers lately
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a good one.
and lost to Troy. That was kind of one-sided. Good fight, though. But
Yeah.
you do look at Chartier, lost to Nathaniel Wood. And that's really here of pretty much what I want to explain is that fight there. Wood kept pushing the pace. Chartier couldn't breathe. Chartier is not very good at transitioning to game plan, and pretty much once he has it set, that's what he's going to have. So if Nate Landwehr can get him out of that like repetition and smooth running and kind of disrupt that flow that Chartier needs to have, and he can't transition out, Nate Landwehr could get this win, but I really see Morgan Chartier, God bless, getting the win.
Yeah, we definitely seen that wear of Nathaniel Wood last winter against Choi. Man, he had all the hype behind him coming off of his last victory going into that fight, and we certainly thought we'd see a lot better out of Nate Landwehr. And Nate the Train brought it, man. He brought every ounce of it that he had, and ultimately he was unable to, get up. He got taken down consistently. So if Charrier was able to utilize that game plan and utilize the grappling ability that he ultimately has, he's going to be able to get Nate down just like Choi did. And I mean, if Nate's not able to find his chin early on and he's not able to pose a threat to where Charrier does not want to go for his legs, he certainly is going to have a lot of difficulty in this fight, like we saw against Choi.
Facts. That's kind of the way I see it going. Everybody would not mind a Nate to train obliteration knockout. Even if it messed up the parlay, can't even be mad. But I'm gonna go with Chartier here. Moving on to this interesting fight. I can't believe they just threw this on the third rack of a random fight night. Calvin Kattar, 23-9 against Steve Garcia. I could see why, because Kattar, is now on a fight losing streak. Never been the same since he got hurt. This one's really hard, man. I'll be real. This is closer than many people are probably thinking. I mean, it's pretty much a pick. A minus 125 for Garcia, plus 105 for Kattar. But I just do not see Kattar breaking his losing streak against Steve Garcia. He's on an 8-fight win streak now ever since his loss, something like that, something high up there. And he's just rocking through people. Beat Choi, beat Costa. Hey, he has a win over Chase Hooper. That's huge.
Yeah. KO win.
And he's looking great on the feet and his takedown defense. I mean, what do you think Calvin Kattar can really bring in this fight, and what strategy do you think he could even use to beat Steve Garcia? Because I don't. Steve Garcia, man, he's not going to. Kattar don't want to stand with him, does he?
Well, that's the thing is that the style that Cater brings, he's not going to change it up this late in the game. He's going to
Right.
stand and meet you in right in the middle, and I don't think it's going to be very long. We've seen it 5 times in a row how hard Steve Garcia can ultimately hit,
Yeah.
and it just showed it with Kyle Nilsson last time, man. Shout out Kyle Nilsson. He lives not too far away. I was cheering Kyle on, hometown boy, but ultimately, yeah, it was just once his hands connect anybody's face, he just destroys whoever's in front of them, and we've seen it with the high level guys like Nilsson, like Hooper, and yeah, it's I don't see Calvin Kattar's style, which we've come to love. We know we're going to get drag him down, beat him out, slobber knocker, but that's not going to last very, very long because Steve Garcia just wants to meet you in the middle too. And he's got those mean machine hands of steel, man. So I think Garcia is going 6 in a row with KOs on this one, man. I could certainly see it. Maybe Calvin Kattar will pull that signature toughness that we see from him every fight and get it out of the second round. But man, I after watching, I still have images going back to Max Holloway ultimately, where I don't want to see that happen to Kattar from Garcia because Garcia is gonna send a missile.
Right. I I don't know. This might break Garcia's KO streak, truthfully. But what? Kattar took Yusuf Zalal to decision. What the hell is there a fly down here? Aljamain Sterling to decision. Arnold Allen to decision. Or no, he got knocked out. Never mind. Josh Emmett to decision. Gigi Katadze to decision. Holloway decision. I know it's getting back around when he got hurt, stuff like that. He might have the chin, man, to make Garcia go decision. That would be a good odds pick here. It really
Yeah,
would. I wonder what that's going to end up. What is today? Monday. Way too far away from the good ones. Ain't got nothing up, do they? Nope. Is what it is. Ooh, under 1.5 plus 114.
that's not bad at all. Steve Garcia by KO would ultimately probably be around plus 150, and I think that's where the money's at, man.
Right.
Um, it's bad when you play a defensive game against Steve Garcia, and it works out
Yeah,
bad for you when you play a reckless game. Like I don't.
I agree. I'm taking Steve Garcia here, though. Especially Calvin Kattar being 37 years old. If he takes this loss, he's probably hanging up the gloves.
Absolutely,
If he
and
wins,
rightfully
who do you give
so.
him? You
He
know.
o- he owes us nothing, and rightfully so. Nobody could really blame him for that. He's given us so many wars, and
Oh
he's
yeah,
willing to stand in front of Mean Machine while a lot of guys aren't willing to risk their spot to do so.
yeah. Sucks he got an injury at the end of his prime, but it is what it is. Before we get to your co-main event, I want to have one more shout out to TKO Roofing. The owner's Cody Wilson, 145-pound champ, defended in Cage Thunder. Don't let your roof be the underdog. Get your roof fixed today. An Arco main event for UFC Fight Night in Nashville. The old Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson, 17 and 8 and 1, making a comeback at 42 years old against not giving any favors from Dana White and old boy old Gabriel Bonfim. 27-year-old agile, 17 and 1. Little killer gorilla. Last win off a submission. Decision against Englusa. Not knocked out by Nick Albee though. Ooh. Nicholas Dalby coming in with a random knockout. That's funny, dude. That happens. But I don't see Bonfim even. It'd be stupid to even try to stand and trade with Stephen Thompson. Pretty much just taking the ground and pound him. We've already seen Stephen Thompson struggle with the being able to defend grappling. I don't really see it going the other way. I don't see Thompson having the gas tank to really be a threat past 1.5 rounds anyway. At 42 years old, taking on a 27-year-old. But you never know. Bonfim might just try to be a hoss and stand with them and get knocked the fuck out. But
Yeah, well, I mean that was the same thoughts going into Chaos Williams, and he got him down, and Darce choked him early on. We've seen the holes in the grappling from Stephen Thompson over the years, and Bonfim is very, very well rounded. I think Thompson's ultimately hasn't had the wars that he's not going to be able to keep up and get the cardio. He's probably going to be able to take the shots. He's probably going to be able to get the movement, but it's going to have to, his only shot ultimately is that highlight reel finish that we've seen way back in the day in his debut. And I just don't see it unless we get an upset like Dalby was able to do. The possibilities there, but I mean, Thompson's going to have to be on his toes. He's going to have to move side to side. He's going to have to keep it lateral, and he's going to have to keep him at bay, charge in and out very, very quickly, and not let Bonfim get a hold of him. Because either way, if Bonfim gets a hold of him, one, we're going to see exactly what he did to Chaos Williams, or two, the clock is going to be eaten up, and ultimately it's going to be a decision for Gabriel Bonfim.
I think he gets a submission win over Stephen Thompson, man. I really do. I mean, why wouldn't he? Shoot for that. Get a finish against Wonder Boy. That'd be his ticket. And he's 17 and 1. And he has a win over Chaos Williams. Like, what else can you want from the boy? Especially if he gets this. I know this is still it's still Wonder Boy. It's cool to get a win, but at 42, how big is that diamond on your belt that you beat Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson? You know, that's just kind of like a someone I looked up to, awesome kind of fight. I beat him. It's great. But I'm taking Gabriel Bonfim here inside the distance. And we get to our main event. Oh, Black Beast, Derek Lewis, 28 and 12. Coming up against Talisan Teixeira, 8 0. Behemoth. Some bit 6'6, 260, 25 years old, Lee. Crazy, man. And last time when I saw him fight, he was bigger than I thought he was going to look. But here, I mean, Derek Lewis, doesn't matter how old you are, his size, his weight, if he connects, he made his whole career out of doing nothing but hitting a power punch, dude. And he'll get 28 wins. Does he have a submission win? I wonder. Doubt it. But maybe. 4%. He has one submission win in his career. Oh, Black Beast does. That's funny. But
Yeah.
here, Derek Lewis coming in as the underdog at a plus 210. Teixeira at minus 280 as it should be. It'd be really great for the division for Teixeira to win this. Truthfully, it really would. Good, great for the head. He's strikes landed per minute 14.61 in his first two fights. Interesting. I don't know, man. Can you really rely on Derek Lewis as of the last few years?
Yeah, it's a really difficult feat, man. I mean, the consistency of Derek Lewis, man, it's like betting on the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. You bet on them to lose, they come out with some crazy ass freaking overtime play, flying knee in the first round and knock you clean cold out. And then you bet on them, and stuff like we've seen it before with Nascimento or Tai Vasa, or I think I'm making a mistake with Nascimento and
You're right.
But yeah, we've seen him ultimately get all grappled and mounted for 5 rounds where he's just held the hands. We've seen him come out with crazy knockouts like his last performance. It all comes down to this first round. Like it's the test that Teixeira is going to need in heavyweight. Like, how good can you take a shot? Can you take a shot from Derek Lewis and keep pushing forward? And we're going to see what's going on with that in the first round.
Yeah, it's hard telling how many times Derek Lewis is supposed to lose fight sleeps a guy. And you can't say nothing because, I mean, he got a win over Nascimento in round three at 39 years old. So you can never
Yeah,
really count him
absolutely.
against heavyweight.
Yeah, I know it's the consistency with Lewis, but we're gonna see, man. He's still in there. He's still game. It's still heavyweight. Anything can happen. And like a lot of these fights that we're watching in Nashville, it's gonna come down to that first round. How does that 7 foot tall monster that is Teixeira respond to getting hit by the Black Beast? Does he go down first thing? Does he eat it well? Does he shell up, or does he eat it like a pancake? And you know, it goes in the second, and we see what we've seen with Derek Lewis time and time again.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this one up in the air. I'm not going to be betting on this one at all, pretty much.
Well, I
Got
mean, I think I said it years ago when he was fighting for the interim title against Gon, and stylistically, statistically, Gon was the absolute better fighter, hands down, 10-9 in every facet. But I bet my life savings on Derek Lewis by KO.
Never know. I had him too that
Because
night
you,
I
you
was
just
drinking
got
some
to.
buddies.
You just got to.
Yeah, he was heavily on gone, is what it is.
Yeah.
But really,
Despite,
here, I know I love Derek Lewis, but I really like to see Teixeira win this fight here and kind of shake up the division a little bit and go up through and see what the rest of the division's
yeah.
made of. But if Derek Lewis gets another knockout, get a great.
And kudos to Derek Lewis for
Yeah, walks
providing
away.
fight after fight after fight that people want to talk about and continue to see, especially at his age. So I mean, win or lose, everybody's gonna watch a Derek Lewis fight and probably tell he's in his 50s,
I
especially if he
agree.
knocks out Teixeira.
Yeah, especially. Alrighty, y'all. That wraps up our UFC fight night in Nashville. We are back, baby. Another weekend of UFC. See y'all next
Boom.
time.
Yeah, and don't forget, man, not only are we going to have our premium package there for Nashville, Tennessee, but we got plays coming up in the LFA. I'm looking at stuff with Cage Warriors, man. We nailed Cage Warriors a couple weekends back. Heavy units there. Start your weekend off right. Start it
Let's
off on
go.
Friday night, man. We follow the sport of MMA. We do not get games every damn night, 7 days a week. We get 2 days if we're lucky. And so scale all your
Two.
bets. Fight Time Network has it covered. We're anything that has a line on it and we could get a good read, we're going to post up in that winnable. Subscribe. You're not going to be let down. $100. If you put $100 per unit, you would have been up $800. And that's not bad for a Saturday afternoon MMA fights, but we got LFA, Cage Warriors. We got Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday night. We got you locked. Keep your eyes peeled in the story for that winnable link.
See y'all next time.
Hell yeah.
Fight Time Network.